Anyone wanna fuck? Total. Hello. What's your name?
My name is Untouched.
So, how am I gonna pass through? I drink Roxy every day. Definitely feeling things. Definitely.
Good morning on the fourth day in Nepal. I woke up with my natural alarm clock today. There it is. And as you know, the plan is to go to GHANDRUK village. So to get to GHANDRUK, you need to take the jeep and whatever. I'll show you all that as I'm doing it. But beforehand, you need the permit, which is what we got yesterday, and it's about 3,000, so about $25. So this hotel that I'm in right now, I got a like a private room. It's pretty good. I mean, I paid like 500 for it, and that's how much I was gonna pay for the hostel anyways. I was on my way walking to a hostel, and a guy on a motorcycle just stopped and, started like, hey, you need this, you need that, whatever. I just like to hop behind this motorcycle, and he brought me here. It's not a bad room. I mean, they're kind of like a family. Probably had like an empty room and just maybe gave it away for 500. Kind of like everywhere in Nepal, the water that you're gonna get is not gonna be so hot. So I was trying to take a shower yesterday, and it's just kind of like lukewarm water. So just keep that in mind, I guess. Be a man and take a cold shower. Also, this guy told me like he can arrange like a trip for me to actually see like a poor Nepalese village that's like not so touristic. So I might do that on the way to Kathmandu. So that kind of like pushes back my Everest itinerary by a couple days, which is good because I mean everything's working out perfectly. I love Nepal because the group tour that I was gonna do for Everest, they jacked up the price when I got here, right? So then I walked around and found that guy that can like do a solo trip for me. So since I'm doing solo, I can just tell him like, let's leave a day later, let's leave 2 days later, whatever. So like, that's kind of the plan. GHANDRUK today. GHANDRUK's in like the Annapurna region. That's why you need the permit. So maybe even like, since I'm already getting the permit, maybe I'll even like see a couple other things there. The only thing is you need to hike to do a lot of the things there. And I left all my boots and stuff in the hostel in Kathmandu because I don't want to carry a sleeping bag and boots and other stuff, since I didn't think I would be hiking here. But I'll see. Maybe I can do it with like my shit Walmart sneakers.
Hotel Air Pokhara. Hey. This is the owner. Gonna have some breakfast now. That's where the roosters are. They were waking me up in the morning. But yeah, this is kind of like a family guest house, I guess. Got their laundry up there. That's my room. The roosters. This is the food. Some sort of tortilla. This is maybe the gist of it. And you mix it up. Maybe this is soup. Kind of tastes like lentils. I was saying, earlier, before even coming to Pokhara, that like this type of life, like a villager's life, is very appealing to me. It's healthy, I guess, like mentally. You have, like a small tight community. You have your family that you're with. You guys like grow your own food and you live a minimalist, simple life. It's definitely appealing to have that. But then on the other hand, I think like if everyone lives a life like this, then one day you need brain surgery and you can't get it because there are no brain surgeons because everyone lives a life like this. I guess, we have our like big cities where we do like stressful jobs and, commute from home to work, make a lot of sacrifices, not living like this communal happy life. But in exchange for that, we kind of like push the frontier forward, like we invent things, we make things. Yeah, I guess this life is like nice and appealing when everything's going right, but then like you end up needing the stuff that the fast-paced city life produces. Yeah, so I guess there's no way around it. I mean, in the end, there is a reason why we live those high-stress lives. It's not for the money, it's for the development. Excuse me. Do you mind? For the development of the humankind, I guess, you know. Alright, I'm gonna try to share some of the stuff I remember from talking to the barber yesterday. So Nepalese people make about $300 a month. And Nepal has one of the weakest passports. So he was saying that a lot of people want to leave, especially young people. I guess that's pretty common in a lot of poor countries now with like the advancement of the internet. Everyone's seeing like other countries and they want to move there. So they want to move to make more money and stuff, but their passport is pretty weak, so they can't. My observation on a separate issue is there's a lot of like English speaking people here, Nepalese people that have learned English on their own. Almost everyone, you know, you can kind of talk to. But at the same time, they're kind of confused when they see tourists. Like when I'm walking on the street, they kind of just like look up down to me. First I thought they were like trying to fight me or something, like sizing me up and challenging me. Not with like bad intent, but like when I first came to Kathmandu, I didn't know how sketchy of a country this was. It's not at all, by the way. So that's what I was thinking. But then I learned they were just confused. They're just trying to like, they're just looking at you. That would make you think that a lot of tourists don't come here, but they do speak a lot of English. So that means like they're either learning English to get out of the country, or they're learning so they can help tourists. I don't know yet. But for example, in Southeast Asia, there are a lot of tourists. Almost the entire country is like built to support tourists really well. But in spite of that, a lot of people don't speak English in Southeast Asia, unless you're in like a tourist region. Here it seems like more people speak English. I don't know, actually. I can maybe check the facts when I get home. Oh, there's a lot of like government tax on electronics, for example. Like people see my camera and I think it's about like 50% more. So probably the same thing goes for phones. Generally, like a point about tariffs typically benefits the local industry. Like Nepalese phone makers have an easier time because foreign phones have just become expensive because of a tariff, which benefits the phone makers, but you really see that it harms the overall population because now their access to phones is limited because you raise the price to get an iPhone, let's say, or a Samsung or a non-Nepalese phone, which means that those people now can't have access to technology, which means it means a lot of things. Because you imagine you're a young person at this day and age and you don't have access to a phone, then you're kind of cut off from society, from development, from pushing the country further as well. So it's actually like harming the country as a whole, I think. But the cost of that you won't see. You know, if a politician suggests to put a tariff on things, then yeah, they can talk about like the increased revenue that's going to come from the tariff, but you won't see this like general cost that it has on society, which is that it's delaying the advancement by delaying access to technology. Overall, my views are always free market and free people. If humans are free creatures, then we should be able to interact with each other freely as well, which includes trade. You know, if two people are trading, then the government doesn't need to come in and say, hey, wait a second, like, where's my cut? Wait a second, you can't buy that from him. You have to pay this much more as a tariff, or you can't buy this thing at all. And the only exception to that is if the interaction of two people affects a third person. And as long as the two people consent, then there's no problem. Which doesn't mean you can sell organs, because it violates one of the rules. If you follow the chain, it breaks consent at some point, because the person giving their organs did not consent to giving the organs. I think a lot of the world's problems would be solved if the government wasn't in our way with their interventionist fingers. For example, like there's a war in Russia and Ukraine, but is this a war of the people or is this a war of the leaders? And same thing goes for, like, I'm American. America is at war with a bunch of countries, but I know that if I go to one of those countries, maybe some people will have an opinion about me, but most people will see me as Arda, as a human, as, you know, just some other person, not as a follower of the American president. And same for me, like when I go see a country that my country's at war with, I don't look at them and say like, oh, this is my enemy. It's just another human. So, like human to human, we have good connections, good relationships. But then when governments get involved, their dick measuring contest becomes somehow the business of the people, but it isn't.
Take it easy, okay?
Yeah,
So maybe something more.
No, it's good. No.
It's good? Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy.
So maybe fries in dollar.
Maybe. Yeah, sure. Thanks.
어디 달래요, 그거?
Some extra lentil thing called dal, I guess. I think like at this day and age, a lot of people feel this way because if you ask people, are you willing to die for your country? I think a lot of people will say no. That's kind of an outdated concept now. And the reason for that is because people don't feel like their government, their country is on the same side as them. I'm thinking like their identity isn't tied to their country. I guess people just see it as like, yeah, I mean, like this is where I spawned. If this was like a video game, yeah, I mean, I started in X country, which is both good in the sense that maybe it means people don't hate other people from other countries, but it's also bad in the sense that people feel a lack of belonging to a family. Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Because I guess that's the other thing, like when you have this like group of people that share a common ideology, it kind of bonds them, I suppose. And then the flip side of that is it kind of excludes certain people for no reason. The reason being like they're not a part of your country. I guess as long as that doesn't turn into hate, then the benefit of having the identity, the connection, the happiness that comes from that is probably beneficial. But given that it doesn't produce hate for the people that don't belong to that group. So that rooster has been cuckooing or whatever for the past, I don't know, 5 hours. And I was just eating and I'm thinking like, what is this rooster saying? So what really birds that are chirping and roosters that are crowing, what they're all saying is, anyone want to fuck? That's kind of how they mate, right? Like they're just giving their signals to the world, like, anyone want to fuck? That's what a rooster says when they crow. So think about that. Next time you say the birds are chirping in a very romantic, very peaceful, soothing way. Costco protein bars. I brought like 80 of these here. That's the other thing that like pissed me off at the Indian airport. I have like 80 of these in my bag and they pulled me over at every single airport my entire life for having like a bunch of protein bars all next to each other. I mean, it does look like explosives, just stacked bars. But the Indian airport didn't care about that and they gave me so much shit for a lighter. I was like, bro, what am I gonna do with a lighter? Like, everybody listen up. I'm not fucking around, okay? I got a lighter. But if anyone from Costco wants to sponsor my videos, I'd be delighted. This has 20 grams of protein. It's about $1. And almost 0 carbs. I brought a bunch because in India, it's hard to get protein. It seems in Nepal not so hard. They do eat beef here. Oh, thank you. Water. The only thing is, I normally microwave these because they're a little tough to eat. And then the other thing that I always have, secrets to traveling. Caffeine pill, 2 vitamin Ds, and 1 multivitamin. If you get that every morning, probably reduces your unhealthiness. Time for beer. Hello, namaste. A beer?
Beer?
Yes.
Which one?
Which one is good one? Young people. Yeah. They like this one? Okay. How much is this?
70.
Okay. That means it's the cheap one now.
Yeah.
That's why they like it?
I don't know, but
I can have this in the Jeep, it's okay?
it's okay.
Yeah.
No problem. Don't fight each other. That's good.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, thank you. Alright, so we out here in Aricho, grabbed the beer, waiting for the Jeep. Jeep is like 6,000 rupees total. Hello, what's your name?
My name is Ardaventure.
Okay.
Please buy also. Come here.
Hello.
Hello. Selfie. Okay.
Selfie? Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so this is Aricho. You get a Jeep here for 600, and when it fills up, it leaves. So So it's about like 6 people in there, about 1,000 each. And you can download this application called InDrive. It's basically like the Uber of Nepal. And it should take about like 150 to come here on a motorcycle. Guys are cold? Is it cold? Not prepared. Bathroom break. It's very nice. I mean, we're not even here yet. I don't know what there is in GHANDRUK, except that I know it's just like kind of untouched by civilization, I guess. So, you know, it's so like down to earth, kind of like this village life that I keep going on and on about these past few days. My ramblings have been all about how much better the village life is. I'm like conflicted because obviously like there are huge benefits of civilization as well, like hospitals and stuff. It's not only the village life, it's just like some of the things about living in the West really bother me. There are so many rules. I don't just mean like government rules. I mean just like societal expectation kind of rules. For example, like coming here, the Jeep stopped at an ATM because one guy had to pull some money. Probably because like he didn't have the money to pay for the Jeep, and he just told the guy like, yo, can you stop at the ATM? I'll just pull some cash and then I can pay you. And like, why not? Guy's like, it's already on the way. He's like, all right, everyone, we're gonna make a stop. This guy's gonna like pull some cash and then we're gonna carry on. But if this was like the US, it would be like, sir, you need to do this, that, whatever procedure is, you have to, whatever, like system won't allow me. In Turkey also, like for example, you go to a restaurant, you're like, hey, can I have like the potatoes instead of the rice as a side, you know? They're like, yeah, of course. I mean, like, we got the shit in the back, bro. Don't worry. Like, we'll just put potatoes instead of rice. If it's some Western country, it's like, oh, sir, the system won't allow me to, whatever. What system, bro? It's fucking, you got the shit in the back. Put potatoes instead of rice. Like, it's, I don't know, like, little things like that, it's just, it bothers me. Maybe live, like, a little less organized, a little less rigid lives. But then the other part of that is stuff runs like smoothly in the US. Probably because they log the potatoes and the rice perfectly. So the next order comes in time from the system and little issues like that don't happen. But I don't know. There's always like pluses and minuses, but it's just kind of like the rigidity annoys me a bit. Carry on with the way to GHANDRUK. I think we're getting some pastries. Thank you. So we're here, finally arrived. This guy's gonna unpack our bags. It's a little hazy, but I think the climate here is always like this. Very nice. See, so colorful. I think like most countries, like Mexico's like this too. There's a lot of colors. There's no colors in the US. I don't know. All the houses are pretty much the same, you know. The other like thing about the rules I was saying, let's say you want to make your house yellow and whatever that color is, or like blue. people make their houses blue or green in Mexico and like other countries I see. But like if you want to do that in the West, your HOA would be like, yeah, no, you can't do it. You can't even put a fucking shed in your own backyard. These red ones, they're the strong beers. The market lady was telling me at the Jeep station that the young people like that. And it made sense because it's $2.70. I think the other ones are like $3.50, and they're higher percentage, as every young person does, as I also did. Your favorite beer is the one that's most alcohol per dollar. That's why it makes sense that they like that one. It's the same for me in Turkey. The one I get is always the Tuborg Red or FS Extra. That's also like 7.5%. It's also red. It's the best bang for your buck. I guess that's common across cultures. Favorite beer by young people is the one that has the best alcohol for your buck. Makes sense. I mean, you're trying to get drunk and you don't have money. The definition of a young person: they don't want to be sober and they don't have a lot of money. Definitely picked the wrong outfit for this mountain village, so I'm just doing a quick change. How much is hotel? That's what happens when you come here with no plans. Anyways, yeah, they told me it's gonna maybe rain or snow tomorrow. Yeah, but how much? What's the price? I like to travel with like little plans, but sometimes it's good to know like what kind of place you're coming to. Example, if it's cold as fuck, I'm gonna make reservations now. Hello, he says you have good hotel.
You have good hotel, yeah.
Yeah, how much is it?
One room for yourself?
One room, yes.
3,000 per room.
Oh, maybe I do some research and...
Yeah, you can browse everywhere. There's a lot of cheaper hotel here.
Okay, okay, thank you. So I guess this is the village. I mean, everyone else left and just gonna walk around and see what's happening. Also, I realized that I'm doing this thing where like, I'm just bargaining with people for fun. I want to like lower the price as much as I can, and then I end up paying like more anyways, because why not? For me, it's possible for me to pay and it means more for them. But I don't know, maybe because like in the past when I actually didn't have any money, like 5 years ago when I was traveling in Eastern Europe for like actually 20 bucks a day, seriously, like sleeping in trains or public parks, and we would just get like a bottle of vodka for $5 and maybe like a chalapi as food and then just walk everywhere. In those days I actually had to bargain. So maybe I'm thinking like, if you watch these videos and then you really want to come here and you really want to know how much it's going to cost you, then you know it'll be helpful to know what the lowest price you can pay is. Yeah, well anyways, research time. All right, one last thing. I keep remembering stuff that I've been meaning to say. This water, I put some of this stuff in it. Hydration salts. Who recommended this? No, like WHO recommended. Sodium citrate, potassium chloride, sodium chloride, dextrose anhydrous, whatever. It's just like salts that make you hydrate faster. 10 rupees, so like less than 10 cents. And I'm thinking like this is a pretty good travel hack, because water is often neglected when you travel. If you can hydrate yourself with more efficiency, it'll be better. Here they sell it a lot because like at high altitude you respirate more, so you lose more air. People go on hikes also, so like water's pretty critical. I guess the good part about like snow or rain that'll come tomorrow, as far as what they say, is that the weather will clear up, so you can see the Himalayas and the mountains. Let me find some hotel reservations, maybe also grab a local beer, support the village economy. So here you can see some tips about high altitude sickness, which is kind of a big deal here, especially for me, so I'm going to Everest Base Camp. That's at about like 5,600 meters or something, like pretty high. I was looking at the map on the plane on my way here, and hello Dougie, how are you? And like a lot of these mountains that they're showing, like Mount Ararat in Turkey, Mont Blanc in Switzerland, and so on, the peaks of those mountains aren't even as high as the base camp of Everest. So I guess I kind of signed up for this thinking like Everest, cool, let's do it, whatever. But kind of is a big deal, and I don't want to get altitude sickness. I have like no training either, but we'll see. I'm relatively fit, you know. I don't do any cardio, but I work out, so lift weights. We'll see what happens. Okay, Arda, shut the fuck up and show us the village. All right, so kind of got the secrets from a local. This place is just, maybe you stay 2-3 nights is what he's saying. There are a bunch of hikes, there's a hot spring, and normally you can see the Annapurna, probably one of like the Himalaya big mountains, snowy and stuff, but right now I can't see it, so it kind of sucks. I hope the rain will come down and clear up, but seems like you just chill here, walk around the village, which is what I wanted anyways. I wanted to like spend some time in a village and learn about the local life. People say like I like traveling because I learn stuff, you know, it teaches me stuff. And people say like, what are you gonna learn in India, in Nepal? Oh, India, okay. Streets dirty and people poor, okay. No, it's not that. It's you talk to people, you learn about yourself because you place yourself in a different position, in a different setting. When you do that, you grow into a different tree. It's like you're a seed, and every time you change locations, your seed grows into a tree, and then you see what kind of tree you become, and you learn something about the seed that you are. Right now in your Western country, you're a nice little tree, but in order to know your seed, you know, you need to place yourself in these different places and see what you become, and then you learn about yourself. So yeah, that's what you learn. It's true, yeah. Streets are dirty and the people are poor. Yeah, that doesn't teach you much, but you walk around and in that setting, you do certain things, and those things tell you about yourself. It's the same thing when you're like finding a girlfriend for yourself. You find a girl in your Western country, and she looks like a great tree. Yeah, of course she does, because like she grew up with money, with all the resources, and that makes someone into a good-looking tree. But take her and put her into a tough situation. Take her into the wilderness. What happens to her when she's hungry? What happens when your flight tickets get canceled? What happens when stuff doesn't go right? That's when you'll see what kind of seed someone is. You take your girl, you take your friend, you place them in a village in Nepal. Observe what kind of tree do they become. You take them, you forget your wallet one day. She has to pay. What kind of tree does she become? You take her camping. No resources. What kind of tree does she grow into? And then you remember all these trees and kind of average them out and figure out, okay, this is the seed. You understand what their seed is. I guess seed is a good metaphor too, because in the end, the two seeds are like where the genes are, right? And so you and your significant other will combine your genes and make new seed. And so if you want to know what your kid's going to be like, if you want to know what your wife is going to grow into as she gets older, then you have to look at the seed, not the tree, is what I'm trying to say, as I'm respirating heavily through these high altitude Nepalese villages. How am I going to pass through? Oh. Maybe this way. Namaste. Namaste. You know, all the complaining I do about the West. Shit moves slowly because there are a lot of safety rules, you know, when you're constructing a house. You can't just throw rocks down. If it's gonna happen fast, but it means everyone has to be like a little more self-aware and careful, in charge of their own safety, then I think I'm down. Because like the too many rules is really like bothering me. So there's no oxygen up here. Damn it. It's starting to rain too. Maybe let me find a place to stay ASAP. What's that song? ASAP. A-Town.
Peace up, A-Town.
Maybe the no oxygen is making me a little not normal. So going towards 2 now. The guy that I met downstairs, he's a pretty cool guy. I think he said he lived in America. His hotel's in Street 4, so towards that direction. But I kind of want to see these places. So I'm gonna switch to the 360. Hopefully that gives a better view. So everything is kind of pretty tight here, you know. So you know how I say about like in villages, people are like, they don't care about things that much. They just have each other. They don't have a lot of things. So they find more value in each other, but they still have like this pipe. It's not made in the village, you know. It comes from the city market capitalist life that we stressful people live. This is a product of that kind of environment. The village doesn't make this, but the village still can use it, or like steel, metal. The village doesn't make metal. They don't mine. They still get to use it. Every once in a while, they go pick out the good inventions of our capitalist lives, and then they start using those. So like metal, good, we'll take it. Like rough, strong, rugged pipes, we'll take it. What else? Water heater. It's not essential, I suppose, but maybe it is essential. It gets pretty cold up here. Car, for example. We drove up here with a Jeep, pretty useful. But like pop socket, you know, all right, we can skip that one. Big pink Stanley cup. Yeah, we'll skip that one. But every once in a while, you guys, the city people, y'all make some good stuff, and we'll pick out the good ones. But we don't need everything you guys make. Makes sense. If you made this by hand, it would take a million years. But if you have a factory that just weaves this fence, much faster. So it's the two extremes, you know. I guess like I always compare this life and that life, but there are like aspects of each that you can pick out and adjust for your personal desires. Some people love the consumerist life. For me, it's never worth it. Like even if I have a lot of money, I'll never buy like a $7,000 business class ticket on Singapore Airlines. I don't know, it just doesn't make sense. You paid $7K to sit in the chair in the sky. Congrats, bro. You think you're living life. I think there are better ways to spend that money. You can come here, come to GHANDRUK. Give some of that money to people. You know, just like spread it out. I promise you that'll make you happier than paying the money to drink champagne in the sky. And you get to do it on a couch instead of a chair. Big deal. I think it's the same for like expensive restaurants. I don't think it makes sense. I think $1 pad thai in Thailand fills you up the same way a $500 steak and wine dinner does. There's obviously like it tastes better, but like, does it taste that much better? Like, how much better does it taste? That much better? What if like you satisfied your hunger with $1 pad thai and then you spent $499 doing something else? Would that make you happier? For me, it would. And people will say like, that's because like you have so much money that like you can, I don't know. I think no matter how much money I have, it'll never justify it. Is this a hotel? I think gets the deal done. That's probably fine. Yeah, I'll do it.
This is the local wine.
This is the wine. Yeah. What was it called? Richie?
Local Roxy.
Roxy.
Local Roxy. It's good.
Yeah, good, but what it tastes like? Rice or?
Rice, no rice. I'm very confusing.
No, it's okay. I had this like flavor before. Try the beer too. Gorkha Strong Nepali beer embodies the bold spirit of heroic Gorkha soldiers. So Gorkha people live in GHANDRUK? No. What the local people called here? Gurung. Comes with a glass too. So this was $270 at the Jeep place, but here it's $550. $2 to bring it up to the village.
Cocktail.
Yeah, mixed it. Yeah, I'm trying them both. Raksi, or Rakshi, is a Nepali term for a traditional distilled alcohol beverage in Nepal, India, and Tibet. It's often made at home. Hopefully, I don't get methanol poisoning from this. Raksi is a strong drink, clear like vodka or gin, tasting somewhat like Japanese sake. That's probably why I thought it was rice. It is usually made from kodo millet or rice. Different grains produce different flavors. Traditional people, the Limbus and Kirati people, for whom it is a traditional beverage, drink tongba and Raksi served with pieces of pork, water buffalo, or goat meat, sekua. Described as strong on the nose and sends a burning sensation straight down your throat that resolves itself in a surprisingly smooth, velvety sensation. Raksi. This video is sponsored by Raksi. I drink Raksi every day. Use code ARDAventures for 10% off. I hope I actually don't get methanol poisoning. Update from 5 minutes ago. This wine drink is pretty strong. I haven't even touched my beer, and I'm definitely feeling things. Definitely. Plus it's cheaper, no carbonation, easier to drink. Or did I get methanol poisoning? What do you guys think about my, what do you call this? Like, it's not a hat, topless hat. War Me tube. It's from the face. Yeah, there are a lot of fake the North Face stuff in Nepal. My way of traveling is always like, the plan is no plan. But this time around, like going to Everest is, I guess you kind of need some plans. At the very least, you need the critical stuff that's gonna keep you warm, at least, you know? You can kind of skip out on many of the stuff and you can buy it here from the face. Maybe your like inner liners, like your base layers, your boots, and your sleeping bag. You probably shouldn't like skip on quality. But what I want to say is that like if you're stressing about traveling, or especially like solo traveling, I hope my channel inspires you to pull the trigger and actually do it, because just watch me. I mean, I come to places with no plans. I just booked this place like right now. Came here with no accommodation reserved or anything. I came to Nepal entirely with no plans. You land in Kathmandu, you talk to a couple people, max maybe like plan your first day and your second day if you want to, optional. And then in those 1 or 2 days, just ask every time you go to a restaurant, every time you go to a hostel or hotel, ask them like, hey, what should I do? And not because like, oh, I'm so cool, I make no plans. It's like stuff you can learn online before coming here is not going to give you the best trip. Like if you ask the people who live here, they're going to tell you the best things to do, the best path to follow. The locals know what to do very well. And also the travelers that have already traveled in this country, they can tell you, hey, don't take that train, take this instead. Hey, definitely don't forget about this. And, you know, maybe like you never would have found out from your online research before coming here. And if you had already made reservations, then you wouldn't be able to change those reservations to adapt to this like new, better trip. So yeah, the point is like, don't stress, just come. Don't make a lot of plans. Also, like when you make plans, you kind of ruin the trip, you know? It's now like, you know everything that's gonna happen. What's the point? Just try, like just do stuff. To me, that's the fun part of traveling. Like there are two ways that people travel. They're both called traveling, but let's call it like leaving your home country. There are two ways you can do it. One, you can go to another country and you can book like amazing high quality hotels with massages and jacuzzis and whatever that, you know, doesn't take you out of your comfort zone at all, but you know, you have a great time. Or you can like stay in the most shitty place and book the most like cheapest accommodation, cheapest transport and everything, and make no plans, go from here to there, whatever, and see just what happens. But in my opinion, like the luxury travel, yes, maybe it's fun. Let's forget about the money part. Yes, it's fun. It's like relaxing. And maybe like after a certain age, people want to do that. But like, you don't learn anything, you know? You just like relax for a week and come back. And you can't do it for that long because you'll run out of money. So I don't know. What's the point? In my opinion, if you book the most simplest trip, you'll have the most stories. The reason it's a story is because it stuck to your mind. It's worth remembering. And if your life is not worth remembering, then why do you live it anyways? You know, I don't think you'll look back at your life and say like, damn, like that fucking jacuzzi was like so hot. And that bed was like so comfortable. Oh my God, whatever. But you'll definitely remember like, oh, I took this sleeper bus going to Ha Giang Loop in Vietnam. And the guy was turning so fast at the curves that I couldn't sleep at all. Just always like the uncomfortable, unexpected, odd things that happen to you. That's what like sticks to your mind. And like also like you meet a random person doing those things. You're not gonna have that happen to you because if you book luxury travel, they always want to keep you like secluded and like private. They don't want to like intervene in your experience. So then you don't end up meeting anyone either. You don't end up interacting with any of the locals, any other travelers. You just don't learn anything. I don't see the appeal in that. For me, it doesn't make any sense. I guess I'm rambling on about basically if you're watching this and you're maybe like on the fence about booking that trip, just book it with no plans because that's the better way to do it anyways. Yeah, the barriers like couldn't be any lower. To have the best trip, the less money you spend, the better the trip becomes. The less plans you make, the better the trip becomes. So that means like the only barrier is your courage. Yeah, like your courage to say, all right, I'm gonna do it. And then you just press the button and you book your one-way ticket there. And that's it. That's all you have to buy. That's all I did. I just booked my one-way ticket to Nepal and the rest is up in the air. But anyways, it's 1:30. I still want to walk around and see this village. I'm only here for probably 2 days. Maybe I'll stay 2 nights here. Yeah, let's go around. Okay, guys, I think I'm like actually drunk. I'm very confused because like I only had that wine. And I feel like a night and day difference between me having that wine and everything afterwards. I hope I'm not poisoned. First stop, where we go?
Tea garden.
Tea garden. Okay. Donkey. Oh, they're carrying rocks. Gentlemen of GHANDRUK.
But nowadays, people kill people. What's that?
What's that? Asian squats. Where your school is?
Over there, side of.